welcome back to Fathers Who Care. And as always, it's a pleasure to be back on the show, talking to you all about some of the activities and things going on in the community. And I want to thank all of those young folks in there who are smiling. They got them big old smiles on their faces with the possibilities. We got the Latino community and the African American community all together working on the same page to empower young people. We're seriously bridging the intergenerational and geographical gaps that kind of binds us or separates us. We're bringing the folks together, and I want to thank those young people out there for coming together. Cardio, I'm going to introduce you to some and present you to others. We're going to do a show tonight, and this show tonight is going to be unlike any show because you and I have been talking about this for some time, and we've been talking about how we can bridge the intergenerational and the African American and Latino gaps in the community, particularly in the city of Chicago. How can we bridge the gap between African Americans and Latinos? We have so much in common. I mean, we share some of the same issues and some of the same concerns. So why don't we come together? We've always been talking about this, you and I. So I'm just thankful for another opportunity for you and I to get together and for us to still have the same spirit that we've had a while ago, to really want to keep on moving forward, to do what we can to show these young people that we can show them the right way by bridging the gap. And I want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing in the community. And we want to use this show specifically to talk about, first of all, the name of the show is Fathers Who Care. So we highlight and emphasize the importance of men being fathers. And I know that you're a proud familia. Yeah, and a family man, and I want to say to you, thank you for the work that you're doing, and then we're going to go home and take this show to the next level because we want to talk specifically on how we can not only save our children from this senseless violence, how we can reduce underage drinking, substance abuse, how we can continue to educate and empower our young people. You know, our young people are somewhat rare in that they need the love, they need the attention, and they need people to really care for them. So, Cardio, again, I want to thank you. You were under the weather a little bit, but I thank you for still coming out and pushing it in with us. And Happy New Year to you all. And again, for those who will be watching the show tonight, our guest this evening is none other than my brother, Cardio Delgado. And I'm going to tell you, he's a father, he's a community activist, he's the former director of Cicero Area Project, he's a consultant, he's definitely on a mission to empower young people, parents, organizations, schools. He's into building capacity in the community. He's taken a holistic approach to social involvement, social engagement, and enlightenment. He's definitely a man. He believes in empowering the least of us. He's a mentor to young people in the community. He's an advocate for those concerns in the Latino community to empower the Latino community. And I know he's 100% about it. And also he's a traveling man who believes in doing what he has to do to get to the next level. Is that right, my brother?
It's right.
It's a pleasure to see you, Acadio. Thank you so very much. And Acadio, we know that a lot of things has been going on in and around the city. And we know right now with the status quo of things that's going on around the country, you know, folks are doing all kind of stuff, talking about this, talking about that, talking about immigration, talking about this, talking about border walls, talking about all kind of foolishness. But we're talking about what can we do, regardless to whatever folk may do down there. What can we do in the city of Chicago to work together, the African American community and the Latino community, to build our resources, to bridge the gaps, to make sure that our young people are exposed, that our young people are engaged, our young people are enlightened, and our young people are empowered. I think it's extremely important that young people understand other cultures. I personally enjoy the fact that I'm studying now Spanish. And I'm not studying as fast as some of these young folks will, but I'm on it, all right? Because I really want to learn it and I really want to speak it. And then I'll have 3 languages. But anyway, Acadio, I want to ask this question of you. If folks are watching for the first time, and I know they are, we got Kelly, we got Carter, Trust, and we got Tammy, and we got Georgia. You all, we're watching, we're working together, this young man and myself, on how can we bridge the cultural gaps and the intergenerational gap with the Latino community and African American. And we're talking about through education, social empowerment, and economic development. So let's talk to you. Ocadio, so just tell me, who is Ocadio? Now, I know you. I know you for the work that you're doing in Cicero. I know you for the work that you've been doing with the Cicero Era Project. I know you for the work you've been doing downstate. I know you for the work you've been doing in the Latino community. And if I have to say so myself, when I think Latino, of course, I think of one of my own, all right? I think of my own brother who's in the Latino community, putting in the work with his whole family. And I mean, doing the work that we have to do to empower our community. But who is Ocadio outside of all of that work?
Well, Walter, thank you very much for having me here in this show.
My
and
pleasure.
I believe that by talking today and to try planning something on behalf of the community,
Right.
that is the first start to do to bridge the gap between the African American and Latino community.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, my pleasure.
Arcadio Delgado is a father
The father.
of 5 children
All right.
and is a lovely husband
Okay.
and also a grandfather.
A grandfather.
A
Okay.
grandfather.
Yeah.
Actually, believe it or not, but I have 18 grandchild.
18 grandchildren.
18
Really?
grandchildren, yes.
Wow,
yes.
that's a family for real.
It's a
Or
family
familia.
For my familia.
So that's real important to you in the community.
It's very important.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm a lovely husband.
Right.
I love my wife.
Right, right.
Yeah, that she always support me. And
Right.
all my crazy things that I want to change.
Yeah, we're trying to help so many people, right?
Continue helping the community.
Yeah.
For the well-being of society.
But I say this here, and I say this here to so many different people about why it's important for the African American and the Latino community to work together. I say that not because one group is better than the other group. I say that because we both are doing the same things we can do to empower our families, to empower our communities, to save our children, to help to stop the violence in the neighborhood. We are both out here doing the same kind of work. And I think it really makes sense that if we bridge those gaps, if our young people get a chance to travel over to the Latino community and the Latino community get a chance to travel like we've been doing,
Sure.
and we both get a chance to share each other's richness of culture, because I've had an opportunity this year to last year to visit, and a few years too, to visit Mexico and Belize and different places, right? And I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the culture of it. All right, and so when I talk to you and I say that I'm literally trying to study to speak Spanish, I'm serious about that, because I really like and I appreciate the genuineness of family.
Correct.
And that's what we are. That's our culture. The African culture is strong on family. That's how we were raised in our culture. We didn't play that. In our culture, if someone did something down the street, you didn't have to worry about it, because part of our community and part of our culture would deal with it down the street and bring you home. All right?
Correct.
So I'm trying to get the community, or I'm trying to encourage folk who really remember our history and our heritage to really kind of go back and adapt those values. So I liked it when you was talking about how you were a proud father, a proud grandfather, and a loving husband, and your grandchildren, because some folks think it's not even okay to have children, but in the community, in the Latino community, it's important, correct?
It is important.
Yeah.
It is important. And you know what, Walter, you're right, because culture plays a great role in every human being.
Okay.
And by working with you for many years, I have encountered many similitudes between the African American and Latinos.
Right.
Very similitudes.
Absolutely.
Versus and negative.
The differences, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we are working together, imagine, I always said, if I fly, I never see the difference between one race or another one.
Absolutely.
I always believe that we are human beings, that we born to pursue a happiness. And how can we pursue happiness? We need to work together.
And I agree.
We need to work together, because that is the only way to success in the life. And
Well-
the jobs you do, and the job I'm doing, in Cicero, I believe it's a legacy that we are doing in favor of the young people.
Right. Well, and I agree with you. And I want to thank all of those who are tuning in. Thank you, Gloria. Happy birthday to all of those birthday folks in the month of January. We got Brett, we got Bart, we got all of those folks who, thank you so much for tuning in. And come on, call in. The phone line is now open, 312-738-1060. 312-738-1060. And we're talking about how can we bridge the African American and Latino gaps in the city of Chicago to help to reduce substance abuse and senseless violence on the west side of Chicago. And we're talking about the whole west side of Chicago. We're talking about Cicero, we're talking about Lawndale, we're talking about East and West Godfrey, we're talking about Austin, we're talking about Little Village, we're talking about anywhere where folks are, we're bridging gaps. So here's a question I want to talk to you. You worked a lot with a group called the Cicero Area Project.
Correct.
And so what was the purpose of the work that you was doing with the Cicero Area Project? Because I know there's a lot of stuff going on in all of our communities that need our help.
Correct.
So what was the mission, or what are you trying to do or accomplish with the work that you was doing with that group?
Well, Cicero Project was founded in 2009 with the idea to empower the community.
Okay.
And to empower the community in different factors. Mm-hmm. We can empower in education. Mm-hmm. We can empower through leadership. We can empower by having youth programs, because remember, the youth is not the future. It's now.
It's now.
It's
right now.
I mean, many people believe that we have to wait until they grow up. No. We have to take in consideration what they want to accomplish, how they want to see the world.
Yeah.
And by having in consideration that, we can change many things. We can reduce violence. We can reduce teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
We can reduce gangs activities.
Right.
And many other issues that affect in our community. Mm-hmm. So the Cicero project, that the idea is to empower the community, and one of them, like I say, is through leadership programs. We offer. Before I continue with that, the idea with Cicero project is to bring the family together. Why is that? Because we have a youth programs and we have a programs for adults. Mm-hmm. We offer ESL classes. Mm-hmm. We offer GED classes, because we need to help people to keep growing and to have a better quality of life. Right. And by bringing all the families together, I'm very confident that they can change the world for better quality of life.
See, that's the passion I'm talking about. And what you're talking about is just straight, genuine, and a straight passion. And we're only talking about changing quality of life, enhancing the quality of life, engaging, enlightening, and empowering our people. Our people are all people. I mean, Latino, African American, we all are the same. We bleed the same. Correct. We're facing some of the same ills. We're undergoing some of the same distresses that's in our community. Some of the stuff that's going on in our community is going on in your community. Exactly. And in your community is going on in our community. And you're watching Fathers Who Care. And my dear brother here is Cardio. And we're talking about how can we bridge the African American and the Latino gaps in the city of Chicago to empower, to enlighten, and to engage our young people. We really want to stop the violence in the community. We want to educate our young people. We want to provide leaders in the young community. And we want our young people to matriculate to the levels where they can make decisions.
That's correct.
Where they can run for Congress. They can run for the Senate. They can be judges. They can be doctors. They can be whatever they want to be. And we want them to know that they don't have to be afraid of bridging the gap. And they need to be more together than apart. Caller, you on the air. What's your comment or question?
I have a comment and a question.
Please.
First, I want to commend the both of you young men for coming together, making a difference as you all are. And I wanted to ask the gentleman on the side of you, what do you think can be done for the Latinos and the African Americans to be able to come together as one and make a difference? What do you think needs to be done? I mean, because I think it's needed.
Okay.
Well,
you get it?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for the call.
Thank you very much. I believe we have to understand the culture. The culture plays a great role in the human being. We have to understand African American culture as well. African American need to understand Latino culture.
Absolutely.
By unit
Understand and respect.
and respect.
Yeah.
By understanding that they need to, well, they learn to respect. See, by the acculturation, as a Latino, we learn to acculturate to different environment.
Okay.
What I seen probably have more meetings between young people
So involve the young people in more activities.
and more activities
Right.
together. And more activities together.
Okay.
Why? I just mentioned about education. As African American and Latinos, the statistics shows they are the who has less opportunity to keep doing enter to college or university.
Well, let's talk about that.
And-
Let's go there when you finish this thought. I
Sure.
got a question for you, but go
Sure.
ahead.
And by bring all together, I believe that we will have greater opportunities.
Okay, I want to ask a question because there has been different things out here, and I'm just throwing it out here, talking about DACA, talking about the DREAM Act, so and talking about education and or lack of. So again, you were saying to the caller that we need to educate our young people that it's okay to work together. We need to educate our young people that it's okay to understand others' culture and respect others' culture. But it's also okay for different people from different culture to understand the richness that each culture brings. Because if folks really understood the history of African America, they'd be totally enlightened.
Correct.
Because we come from a history of kings and queens and all of that. But if you don't know, you don't know.
So
Right?
it's the Latinos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you don't know.
Correct.
If you're not being taught where you come from, then you don't know where you're going. And so what we're trying to do, that's why we're here, to educate and let our young people know exactly how rich their culture and their line and lineage is. So here's a question I want to ask you in relationship to, I've been hearing a lot lately about border walls, and I've been hearing a lot about the dreamers, and I've been hearing a lot about DACA. I want to ask you a simple question. Is it possible for immigrants to enter college and higher levels of education and learning as adults?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I would like to share, I don't know if it is possible to share what happened with other people similar to me. For instance, I started my education when I was 36 years old.
With who?
I started
36.
my education when I had 36 years old.
Right.
I finished my GD. Last year I earned a master's degree.
Hold on.
Saying,
You say you started your education at 36 years old to get your GED.
correct.
And last year you just got your master's.
Correct.
Well, go ahead now.
What I'm trying to say is not just to, is that a,
But that's good. That's a good thing.
But it's not egocentrism.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say that everything is possible.
Okay.
We need to plant the seeds in every community, and as you mentioned a few minutes ago, believe it.
So you believe education is
Believe
the key?
it. Believe it.
You believe
Because-
education is the key?
Correct. Because the education gives you different opportunities.
So if you could tell young people who's watching today, and I think we got a couple more callers. You're watching Father Sukir. The number here is 312-738-1060. Of course, our dear guest and my dear brother is Arcadio. He's here to talk about how we can bridge the gaps to empower our young people between the African and the Latino communities. And we know we can. Thank you, Verna. Thank you, Dion. Thank you, Scarlett. We're talking about how to empower each other in the community. And first thing I think I heard you say that young people can't be what they can't see, so we need to empower these young people to be the best that they can be. And if you look out there in the control room of the studio, you'll see the Latino young people and the African American young people in the same control booth working together, and that's what it takes. And Arcadio and myself, we're convinced that we're going to work together and we're going to do what we have to do to empower each other. Arcadio, let me get this call, and then you can respond to the call, and you can come back. And then I want to come back and talk about the importance of education, how you started your education at 36 years old, getting your GED, and then you came back and you just got your master's. So it's possible. That's what you told me, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's
Caller,
possible.
you on there, your comment or question. Our guest this evening is none other than my good brother and friend, Arcadio Delgado. And what's your comment?
My question is, how can we empower one another to become a stronger community as far as Latinos and African Americans?
I like that question. How can we empower young people in the Latino and African American community to work together? Thank you for the caller.
Well, thank you very much for the phone call. What I just said a few minutes ago, we need to engage Latinos with African Americans. This is the only way that we can work together. Why? Because by being exposed to other cultures, you're going to understand, you're going to respect,
Yeah.
and you will create your own
Yeah.
common goal.
Absolutely. And you're growing.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
will make your own common goal.
Absolutely.
See, we have many similitudes,
Uh-huh.
but in the past. So now it's time to create common goals,
Right.
not for the future,
Right.
for now.
Do you believe there's a such thing as divide and conquer? Do you believe that there's a such thing as divide and conquer? Meaning, do you believe that people do work hard to try to keep people from working together?
I highly believe on that. But person like you, person like other leaders in the community, we have to realize that. And we have to understand that the only way to succeed, to have a better safe community is by working together.
So some folks are watching tonight, and they got some young people who are interested in the Latino community, and they want to be involved. Can you give them a number to the Cicero Area Project that they can call if they're interested in being involved in the community or want to be part of some activities or training opportunities that young people are needed in? Because right now our young people can use all the help they can get.
Sure.
So do you have a number you can give our viewing audience if they're
Sure.
interested in coming to the Cicero Area Project?
Sure. Please call to 708-222-8301.
One more time.
708-222-8301. That is a Cicero Area Project.
And so I just want you, also, if you're interested in the West Garfield Park Youth Council or Fathers Who Care, give us a call at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821, or log on to Fathers Who Care or the West Garfield Park Youth Council or the West Side Community Stakeholders or the West Garfield Park Community Stakeholders. So let's get back to the point about you talking about how education is important. Now, I believe that there are certain things going on that if Latino and the African American pooled their resources, that means brought their resources together, regardless to what may happen in the state and the federal government and the county or whatever. If the Latino community and the African American community work together and pool their resources, that means brought their resources together, we can strengthen the lives and the destiny of young people in those communities. Do you agree?
I agree.
So what can we do?
And let me share something else. In the Latino community, in the Mexican community, and the Colombian community, and the Puerto Rican community, we have a great number of African descendants.
Right.
So we are not so separate.
Right.
Let's put it together,
Yeah.
and we will have a better opportunities.
Well, you know, you and I have always had a fondness for each other, and every time we get together, there always have seemed to be some just magical experience that happens. And you know, this is not brand new for us. So we're just getting a chance to take off on a new journey that we've been talking about before, and I think we're just taking off on this same journey that we would just want to expose the young people and let the young people know how much they have in common than they have apart. I think it's really important that we empower these young people, but we have to show these young people the way to go. I mean, and you said it. You just got your GED at 36 years old. Most folks would say 36 years old, I ain't going back to do nothing unless you're old school like us. Of course, you went back and got your GED at 36 years old, and now you're just not finishing up your master's. And I know folks who've done that, who've been through some challenges in life, who's going through challenges in life, and who feel that, you know, they just can't do it. And you just told me how you can be an immigrant and enter into a higher learning and end up as an adult, getting your master's degree, and so on. Listen, you're watching Fathers Who Care. We have a cardio on the phone. I want to thank all of you all who called, who's on the Facebook, Verna, Merlin, Nikki, Dion, Scarlett, Gloria, and all of you folks that I may not know offhand. But we are watching Fathers Who Care right now. The number here is 312-738-1060. Is it important for the Latino community and the African American community to work together? Should we bridge this gap? Should we?
Of course,
Okay.
of course. And I believe that we are doing right now.
Yeah.
We are doing right now.
Yeah.
For instance, outside of the studio, there are a group of Latinos talking with
Yeah.
group of African Americans,
Yeah.
putting
And they loving it.
together
Yeah.
an agenda
And they doing it.
for themselves.
They doing it.
So this is
They're doing it.
This is the future.
Yeah, they doing it.
So everything is doable.
And so
Everything is doable.
you're absolutely right, and you're right, Arcadio. If we just bring them together and expose them to the richness of each other, and don't be judgmental, give them an opportunity to be themselves, to be young people. They already know what they're doing and why they want to do it, but we just want to make sure that we expose them to opportunities.
Correct.
And so I want to come back and ask you another question in relationship to what's happening on the west side of Chicago. Do you feel that if we brought both of the communities together, that we can empower each other enough in our communities to kind of reduce some of this violence in our neighborhoods?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Because remember, people create their own boundaries. But by putting together Latinos and African American, not only the west side of Chicago, south side and all over the place, by putting together agendas, I believe, and I'm very confident the society, the community will be more healthy environment
Right.
together. Why? Because we understand each other.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
boundaries between us.
Right.
Let's work together. Let's create an agendas that will help us to be better person, better community, and that will help us a lot tremendously.
So do this for me, because I felt compelled to do this here. Just give a little shout out to some of the guests you brought out tonight. Just shout their name out and say thank you all for coming out with us.
Well, thank you very much, Alexis.
Alexis.
Emma, thank you very much. Gio, Yubi, thank you very much for coming with us.
And David and Amari and April and Arcadio and Marshayla and all of those other young folks and all of your young folks tuning in. We want to thank you all for the work you're doing. And what we want to do on this show is we want to be specific and deliberate. We want to talk about the possibilities, not what we can't do. We want to talk about what we can do. And we want to encourage you to keep on tuning in as we continue to bring to you informative individuals, folks who have been seasoned, folks who really standing in the gap to empower our young people, and folks who really want to make a difference. Give us the number to the Cicero Everett Project again.
Of course, the Cicero Area Project phone number is 708-222-8301.
You've been watching Fathers Who Care, and I want to thank the Cicero Area Project and Arcadio and all of you good people for all you've done. Thank you all for calling in. Thank you all who may be still on hold. Listen, we can do all things but fail if we continue to work together. So if you don't do it for yourself, let's do it for our babies. Let's continue to empower, engage, and enlighten our babies. Remember, our babies can't be what they can't see. And if it is to be, it must begin with me to make a difference in the community. So thank you all again. Happy New Year. Say that in Spanish.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año
Año Nuevo.
Nuevo.
It's close.
It's close. Listen, God bless you. God keep you. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Good night. Keep the faith. And we'll see you then. Good night.